Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palette of the Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first Warhammer the Old World painting video that you'll see on this channel. Now, as per usual with all these videos, if you like them, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, drop me a comment down below. I love hearing back from you guys. It goes a massive way to helping out the channel too. Now, in this video, I'm just going to go through how I painted up my first Tomb Kings mini, which is for Tomb Monarch on foot. You can put him on top of the Necrolith Bone Dragon if you wanted to. I went with him on foot because he looks pretty damn cool, and I really enjoyed painting it. And yeah, good fun. Now, obviously, Warhammer the Old World is the newest release from GW. If you've already missed out on it, don't worry, at some point they will release the battalion boxes later on and you'll be able to get hold of the good old rules at some point as well when they become back in stock, and the other books and such like. So do not worry, you will be able to get your hands on all of these kits at some point. It's just a case of a bit of a waiting game because of the popularity of it, but for now, let's have a crack with painting this chappy up. I really enjoyed it, it was good fun. Anywho, starting off with a Grey Seer base coat, I'm using Iron Rack skin for those kind of mottled, dead, fleshy areas that you can see that are there. Now, I'm not going to lie, these two shades aren't too dissimilar, so it's hard to tell them apart, but I think Iron Rack works as a very nice mottled flesh kind of colour. And then, because I wanted to have that kind of sickly green kind of fleshy look, bit of Beeltan green as a wash over the top, and it gives a lot of detail in them recesses and changes the complexion of the mini, which is you know, sometimes exactly what you want from like a zombie king. And then I moved on to the cloak. So the cloak I went with a Baden black, so it gives him a nice black kind of cloaky robes that are all ragged and tatty and everything like that. And after this step, I did go back over with Iron Rack skin over the raised areas, so that Beeltan green is only in the kind of recesses. And then he has some kind of like parchment. Now, I could have done all the robes black, but I felt like he needs a bit of a break up, which is very similar to how the GW artists have done it. So you use Rakkar flesh to do this, and it does break it up quite nicely. And then, moving on to the actual gold and the armour, I wanted to go with Retributor armour because it's a nice, bright, really good gold colour, in all honesty. It's probably the best gold paint that I've used in a very long time. And then, onto his actual kind of whatever he's holding in his hand, I can't even remember what it's called. Lead Belcher is a very good base coat. It's all metal, so you wanted to make it look like it is metal. So Lead Belcher was a very good way of doing it. You can use other metals if you wanted to. You could have it all gold. I don't think it will work very well though, personally. And then going over all that metal areas and the cloak with good old Norn oil and over the Rakkar flesh, breaks everything up, gives it a nice bit of shadow into it and makes it look older and more dirty and dinged up and damaged as well. And then it's time to start adding some detail. So on that black cloak I used Corvus Black as a kind of a highlighting colour over the top of that Baden Black and Norn oil mix, because it kind of redoes it a little bit, and it's a bit of a dull grey kind of black as well, so it does dull it down and gives it a bit of an older look. And then for a bit of edge highlighting, although it's really out of focus, Incupied Darkness gives it a nice change of tone as well, so over all of those edges, quite thickly over those edges as well, so it gives it a nice different change of look. And then sticking with Incupied Darkness and a 50-50 mix of Temple Guard Blue to go over the more pronounced highlight areas, and it gives it a nice look. It's not super bright, it's not super dark, it gives it a nice tone for it. Now, I did also do a 30-70 mix of Incupied Darkness as well, and the Temple Guard Blue to highlight it even further as well. And then over some more metal areas, I decided to go with a bit of Runelord Brass to break up all that Lead Belcher. And I didn't go super detailed on this, I didn't go into any recesses with it, just highlighting certain areas with it. And I also did the same with Retributor armour over certain parts as well. And then it's time to start painting up the details of all the panels in the headdress and such like. So I used Mephiston Red as the main part, and it was a bit of a challenge whether to decide to go for blue or a greeny colour. Instead, I actually used Pterodon Turquoise, which is a contrast paint, so it retains a bit of a metallic sheen underneath the paint, but it doesn't look super bright as well, so it looks a little bit more aged. Now, if you want to add a bit more detail to things like the red areas, use a bit of things like Carroburg Crimson. It works wonders. It gives it a nice kind of edge to it, and then a tiny little bit of things like Yakero Orange or Wild Rider Red, which is what I used, over certain little edges of a red, makes it pop even better and makes it look a lot nicer and gleams a little bit better. Now, the only other thing I did is, which I didn't record, is for the eyes I did a little bit of moot green, which is a nice bright green colour to give it that kind of necromantic power look as well, which is pretty cool. Now, I am quite happy with this mini. I think it looks pretty decent. I wouldn't change anything. I think I would just refine my techniques a little bit better and probably paint it up in batches. I did use Mephiston Red over the main shield area and Fondia Brown on the inside of a shield. You don't see them that much when it's going to be on tabletop, so it doesn't need to be done super heavily. But with a little bit of Norn oil, it looks absolutely brilliant, and I think it just does exactly the trick I needed it to do. Now, that is it for this video. It's just a quick paint job. Very simple, very easy to do, and a very enjoyable one as well. Thank you very, very much for watching. At some point there will be more old world content. I don't know when, but bear with it, and yeah, it'll turn up when you probably least expect it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye now.